So, story time with Don. Way, way back in the day. If you remember back when I first played 999 on this YouTube channel. First of all, if you were been following me since then, you qualify for an AARP discount. You should look into that by now. And honestly, my God. Second of all, thank you. I love you. You're amazing. Holy shit. Third of all, yeah, it was around that time was playing a lot of DS games of the sort. And then I would go on to play through the Infinity series. Ever 17, Remember 11, and then eventually Never 7. And around the time when I had finished, some point after I finished 999, this is going to blow your mind. 11 years ago to the day, a user messaged me on YouTube by the name of HDSP1495 and said, really liked your 999 LP and Time Hollow too. Time Hollow, wow, that's a blast from the past. That game also deserved more love. And also suggested, they followed up with, wanted to tell you about Ever 17, graphic novel from the creator of 999. It'd be great if you did a blind LP of it. So, yeah, the rest is kind of history. I did, in fact, do an LP of Ever 17 and the rest of the series. The rest, as they say, is history. So imagine my surprise when, present day, a fellow by the name of Toriv emails me telling me that they have a visual novel in production and that they're releasing a demo relatively soon. It's inspired by games like 999, Danganronpa, and the sort. So, with taste like that, you're guaranteed to get my attention. And number two, honestly, I'm always down to see people pursuing really cool projects like that. So, today, on behalf of Toriv and the GJ staff, we're going to check in to the Golden Jack. We're going to play the demo for Beyond R, Rule Ripper. This is a death game of 10 rules assigned to each of the 10 players, a mysterious bar, and 10 hours to live. Everyone has their own rule. You can only disobey your rule. If you die, your rule is removed from the game until only 3 remain. An evolving game that changes with every death. But we are perhaps the one player in the game who refuses to play along, who challenges the game itself. So our main goal, the unique thing about this, seems to be our goal is not to win or to survive or to find the truth or to escape. It's to defy the game. The rule-based system is really intriguing. And the thought of defying the game using the rules of the game is also quite intriguing. We have 10 characters, each hiding one of the rules of the game alongside their pasts. Uncover their rules, understand them as people. Will we pity them? Or will we remove them from the game? So clues in the bar. Early objectives. Tragedy lurks behind each word. And your survival depends on whether you decide to intervene, what to say. Another thing that catches my attention, the finished project is going to have more than 20 different endings to explore. Very ambitious, but anytime you put an ending number in that high, you are guaranteed to get my attention. So on that note, let us check in to the Golden Jack. Let's see. Oh, that is... No, it's yet. Come back here once you have lived through your first end. Ooh, I'll be waiting. Oh, no gallery. This is intriguing. That was a cool touch for a, for what could have been just a, we're not unlocked yet sort of thing. That's save files. But hey, with over 20 possible endings, yes sir. Okay. This is the beta demo created as a sample for the future Kickstarter campaign, therefore its contents are subject to change. This is a very early demo in the process. The Kickstarter itself is slated to go live some early in 2023. I will update you further in that regard. All shown character sprites are in their final version, but for now each character has only one body pose, with a couple exceptions. Based on the money raised, each one will receive up to at least 3 poses. Alright. Keep that in mind. More than 50% of the music is official. The rest are free licensed songs marked with an asterisk, most of them taking the place of character themes yet to be composed. Basically, with a character theme, you can freely shift at your choosing between placeholder and an official ambient song. Alright. Most of the current backgrounds are official, though a good portion are only line arts for now. A few of them are free licensed photos that have been slightly edited. That's okay. Line arts and placeholders will be marked as such at the top of the screen on their first appearance. The map included in this demo is temporary and doesn't 100% coincide with the backgrounds made, as it was created before them as an outline. A new map will be produced once all the backgrounds have been completed. I mean, I've played enough, like, game jam games to show that you can do really memorable things with stock assets and photos. So, there's no shame in using that. Beware that while the whole demo has been tested, it's possible that some mistake or bug got through, and some couldn't be solved yet. This is still a beta after all. In particular, we highly advise you to not use the Alt key as it causes issues in some cases. Okay, noted. Any constructive criticism, suggestions, help, or bug reports are very welcome. Thanks for downloading the demo, and we hope you enjoy it. With all that said, it's time to begin. GJ Staff presents Project Brr. Don't cry. Everything will be all right. Oh. Sometimes it'll be tough, but nothing lasts forever. And that's why the good times also have to end. But we will meet again someday. We'll meet again as stars. Remember, you are stronger than you think. It was a wonderfully wholesome intro. What could possibly go wrong? Oh. Heat overwhelmed my senses. I could feel the sweat on my body. Oh, wow. The sun was witness to the scene, but it wasn't the only one responsible for that state. Because stronger than that heat, I felt pain. It didn't seem to have an end. I couldn't even remember its origin anymore. I wanted to stop it. No. I had to stop it. Flashback artist. Is that this sense? This sense here? No. The result remained the same. No. In my mind, those words appeared again. Words of support and hope that in that moment only hurt more. But even then, I couldn't forget them. They had too much value. I had already forgotten his face, his voice, his name. I didn't want to lose any more. Finally, it ended. Couldn't do anything. It had ended anyways. The scene would repeat. It was inevitable, a cycle that changed each time while remaining identical. Though, was it really inevitable? It is then that I realize this is a dream. No, it's a recollection of the past that I wanted to leave behind. It's a nightmare. I had to go back to reality, to my new life. Whoa, but what a way to be on the other side. Hey, these have to be the flashback sequences they were talking about. Would it make me regret waking up? Beyond our Rule Ripper. Director and writer Toriv. Huh. This story begins with a selfish wish. And most likely it will end with another one. Is that bad? I'm not in the position to judge. Though in my humble opinion, maybe it is not. Maybe leave that text up for an extra second or two. Lives of 10 people. 10 different worlds. Will they be the judge, the executioners, or the executed? Whatever the result may be, I will accept it. It's on their hands. It's multiple. I'm only an observer. Loathe me. Wish my death. Destroy the imposed chains. And find the answer to this farce. Do that and true victory will be yours. No. Your turn will come. Your turn to die, but now. The hero makes his entrance. His memories began to dissipate, replaced by the darkness. From that darkness, a new reality started to take form. Rhythmical vibrations of cymbals. The smell of alcohol. Faraway voices. As he opened his eyes, a new light. Whoa. Ah, menu. Where? He surveyed his surroundings, trying to identify his location. What is this place? A violet and blue toned light covered the room, creating a nocturnal and cold feel. Alluring, yet also slightly sinister, an illumination that fabricated a false darkness. Options? Full screen. Window, expand. Orders. I like the aesthetics of this. It's a bit... That is cute. euros. 100, window 50. Borders. I'm afraid to... Oh no! Okay. Tinkering with this. Yeah, so full screen, Windows, windowed mode. Expand just causes the screen to fill out to the sides of the windows. Borders undoes that. A little unclear, you have to experiment a little bit. In this instance, the prices might throw people off a little bit. It's a cute touch in here. It's a cute touch down here. Here, it's a bit confusing. The aesthetic's nice, I like it, but I'm not sure about the functionality of this. It threw me off a little bit. Might throw other people off. Just a thought. I like the aesthetic you're going for there, though. Give you that. Heavy air, charged with the smell of liqueur and traces of tobacco smoke, called for a drink. Also, the game kind of crashed when I minimized it and unminimized it. There's clearly some performance issues to be worked out over time. That's okay, this is a very early alpha, beta, even. Called for a drink, and the speakers played a melody adrift on the room's corners, an exchange between a fragile piano and a confident but subtle bass, dissonant harmonies and irregular rhythms, intimate, broken, and without a clear chorus. There was no doubt, it was a bar, a high-class one. Nearby his waking spot, an old man and a girl were sleeping on a sofa similar to his. Their faces completely foreign to him. Who? Who are these? He didn't recognize those faces, and so the same could be said for the place. Trying to look back through his hazy memories, recalling what he'd been doing before waking up. The only thing he could say for certain was that he hadn't gone to sleep. Last thing he remembered doing was getting back home. He arrived, and then... blank. He couldn't remember. Not being able to reach an answer, his attention shifted back to those people. He got up from the couch and slowly walked over to them. However, before he could get very close, he heard a voice behind him. Hey, look, someone else got up. Ooh, hello there, sir. He turned his head and found a man on top of the nearby stairs. Some disdain could be felt in his expression. Behind him, a few more people showed up, looking carefully at the boy. Distrust, intrigue, and some arched eyebrows were the group's reactions. He didn't know what to say. Instead of talking, he looked around again, confused. Come closer, come on. With that said, the man turned around and went back with the others. Without giving it much thought, he went up the steps, reaching a much bigger area. Not too far away, he saw the bar's counter. The group he'd seen sitting on it, plus a few more, quickly went up to them. He didn't wait for a greeting. Questions were piling up on his mind, and they needed to be answered. They needed to be let out. What? What is this place? What is this bar? Could somebody explain to me what's happening? First off, calm down, okay? Excuse me, it's just that... Oh, okay, now this theme's getting eerie. Yes, we know. We're all thinking the same. Just take a seat and try chilling for a bit. You're not the only one confused here. But I don't understand. Do none of you know why you're here? Bingo. Oh? Bewildered, he sat down on one of the stools. Those people's demeanor felt very strange to him. They seemed calmed, or at least composed. However, looking more closely, he could tell some of them were tense. Sir just feels, that feels like his default state. She just feels resigned or depressed. I'm gonna like you, aren't I? So if I understand this correctly, you all woke up here like I did? Exactly. A pretty lujoso place, don't you think? I guess, but... Oh? Before that, we should ask for his alias. Hello there. Alias? Like nickname? If you check inside your pockets, you should find a device like this one. The man on the other side of the counter showed him for a brief moment what seemed like a phone, for enough time for him to see the back. It was black with some letters he couldn't quite read. Try to turn it on, if you will. Following the man's instructions, he put his hand on his pocket, feeling an object quite unfamiliar to him. Oh? Item. Whoa. Taking it out, he confirmed it was the same phone the man had shown him. This time he saw the back clearly, in which Barman could be read. Pushed the only button it had. The screen turned on. Welcome to the Golden Jack. Your name is Billiards. Billiards? What did you say? Billiards. Is that my alias? Billiards, eh? Seems like the theme continues. Theme? See. The Knicks seem to have a shared theme. Blonde reflections on her long hair, and ashen blue in her eyes. On top of the counter, with her legs crossed and glass in hand, the girl seemed unconcerned. On top of the counter? She intoned her word with the same leisure as the sips she was taking from her drink. All Knicks seem to be things that could be in a bar like this one. I got lime. That's oddly fitting and yet at the same time. Maybe because my jokes are as strong as citric acid. Or something. I don't know. maybe because our jokes make me pucker up like... Ugh. That's what some say about my sense of humor, anyways. Ah, I see. Lime like the one you add to a drink. And billiards? Yeah, I guess it's a pretty common game in places like these. Maybe it's not the best example, but trust me, you'll see it better with the other Knicks. I'm not sure what accent you're meant to have. Wait a moment, before that. What are these aliases for? Aliases? How did we get here? Well, that's what we all want to know too, but we know as much as you do. And how did you know about this barman? It's quite simple, actually. We've been up longer, that's it. As soon as a few of us woke up, it didn't take long for us to agree to use those nicknames. Just be safe, you know. Oh, hello there. Exactly. Could be dangerous to give our real names, as nobody seems to know anyone so far. In other words, we're a group of strangers. Billiards nodded, still trying to process the situation. He was certain he knew none of them, and had no idea how he got there. The situation was quite strange indeed. There was no doubt that hiding any personal information was a good idea, for the time being. He was still surprised by how they seemed so calm with what was happening. Though, now it made a bit more sense. He had no idea how long they'd been waiting for him to wake up, but they probably had enough time to calm down. On that topic, then the old man and the other girl. They were sleeping next to you, right? The woman tried to remember, with one hand on her chin and the other on the counter, while her dark and tired eyes faced the ceiling. Her long nails dyed red were tapping on the counter. In between the fingers lay a half-consumed cigarette with lipstick marks on its tip. Yes, now that you mention them, I saw the old man before. He should be on the same boat as us, so we'll have to wait for them to wake up. I'm a cigar, by the by. Cigar? Like a cigarette? Yes, can't say I'm fond of the name. Habits die hard, I suppose. But it is accurate. With the same tiredness in her voice, she brought the lighter's flame closer to the cigarette, fighting it to stay ablaze. Was it a coincidence that, as a smoker, she'd been given that name? Highly unlikely, and that disturbed him further. But there was something else that got his attention. That cigarette and the lighter. Are those yours? Maybe it's just me. The only thing in my pockets was this phone, so it seems weird to me that... Oh, no, it was the same for all of us when we woke up. I found the lighter on top of a cigarette machine. And a cigarette, well, you can take a guess. But if you didn't have any money... The key was in. Don't try to tell me stealing is wrong, when as far as I can tell, we're all here against our will. If the one responsible isn't the owner, I can pay them back later. I guess so, sure. Okay, so cigar and lime, then what about the rest? My dad had called him earlier. Placed a nearly empty glass, as there was some rum left on the counter. He then searched through the pockets on his shirt and pants, once again showing they were empty. Shit. He closed his fist tightly and hit his leg to vent off his frustration. Had he forgotten they were emptied out? Had he not checked until then? Or had he done it out of habit? Fucking dependency. Can't even think straight. Bartender, ask me something strong. Don't care what it is. Right away, sir. Cigar, pass me the smoke. Pronto. You can get a new pack from the machine for free, like I did. Come on, ma'am. It's so free, why do you care? It's not like I'll use them all now, right? Ah, fine. Luckily there were 2 lighters. Take the other. The furrowed brow, Cigar extended her hand with the pack and lighter. As he grabbed one cigarette out and lit it, the man addressed Billiards. You have issues, my friend. Poker. Excuse me? It's my alias, boy. Pleasure. Hey, poker is much cooler than lime. No way, Jose. What's poker without some luck? As long as it's just luck, and you aren't hiding any aces up your sleeves. I'm not one for cheating. Happy to hear. If we get the chance, it'd be nice to play against you. Absolutely. I never say no to a good challenge. Card shark? Excuse me, but... my bad. Guess you would want to hear my alias, right? Yeah, that'd be good. I'm Gin, as in gin tonic, not Jim. And also that's not as in genie. I don't do wishes. Gin, eh? Gin tonic? I would have said gin the card game. Gin rummy. I see, gin is in the drink, the one made with juniper, right? Gin is already way too weird, dude. To make it worse, calling me Juniper. Sorry, it really is true what you were saying about the theming. It's all related to the bar. Can't complain too much, at least there's lots of drinks. A smile and waving an empty glass in the air, ice cubes resonating within the container. Gin put her keen sights on the man on the counter. Cocktail, eh? Give me another one. Cocktail, eh? Right away, right ahead. Billiards observed him in his mannerisms, dry and stoic, responding politely to the others. Seemingly used to serving drinks. The skill in his hands and his control over the bottles were also quite remarkable. Wait, did you say cocktail? Affirmative. Cocktail is the alias I have received. So you don't work here, you're just a natural bartender. Seems like you're good at handling drinks. Indeed. I have some experience on the matter. I'd say it's more than just some. If you're in need, I can make you any drink. I think I'm fine, thanks. Come on, don't be shy. It's in times like these where drinking is justified. After all, alcohol fuels the flame inside of our hearts. What? Ignore him. He already sounds drunk. Nah, that's just how I roll. You need way more than this to waste me, I assure you. And you are? My pseudonym's Darts. Looks like this guy were quite curious. In fact, Bill couldn't find the right words to describe him. Bill. Shorthand for billiards. Cute. While his eye bags showed weariness, his gaze was vibrant. Darts? Alright. I find it very fitting, I have to say. Oh? Why's that? Why? Now's not the appropriate time to go into details. Maybe at some other point. Okay, curious. Okay. So that's cigar, lime, poker, gin, cocktails, and darts. His eyes suddenly sighted a seventh person that he hadn't noticed up until then. Boy. Kid of around 11 or 12 years old was sitting on the stool behind Darts. He hadn't said a single word since he got there. Billiards leaned into the counter to get a better look at him. Their glances crossed for an instant. And you are? The boy gazed at Billiards briefly, seemingly judging him. And once he was done with his quirk of observation, lowered his face, clearly distrustful, and answered. Piano. Huh? My nickname's Piano. I see. Is he okay? Looks angry. I understand if he was after waking up here with no explanation, but we're not the ones he should be mad at. Though to be fair, at his age, it makes sense. Though he didn't act like that as a kid. Trying to be lenient, he decided to leave it at that. Someone else, however, thought differently. You would try being a little more friendly, you know. I mean, he's a kid around a bunch of, yeah, bunch of concerning adults. No. Billiards. Hey. Biliardo. Hand touched his shoulder. Oh. What? Oh, right. Billiards. Sorry. I haven't quite gotten used to that name yet. No pasa nada. You aren't alone. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Don't you think your name is just a tiny bit too long? Actually, yeah, now that you mention it, Billiards doesn't roll off the tongue too well. Exactly, and so, because of that, I hereby propose that you be renamed. It's for drum roll here. Oh, Bill. Bill. How's that? Well, it sounds like a real name and everything. I mean, it is, but sure, sounds good, I guess. You can all call me Bill. It's probably going to be much easier to get used to than Billiards. Great. Then I, Lime, baptize you as Bill. Amen. Now called Bill, then remembered two people still slumbering, girl and the old man. I'm going to say, that would be a bit... Again with the small things, but that would be a bit... That is cute. Would be a bit cuter if they didn't have the narration refer to him as Bill once before that. But that is still cute. By the way, shouldn't we check on the other two? And the old guy? The group decided to get up and peek at the lower couch area where he'd woken up, instead of drinking and smoking. To Piano's credit, if I was a kid, and I was sitting here with a bunch of adults drinking and smoking, I'd be just kind of distrustful of them too. The old man's head was visible above the back of one of the couches. However, in front, where the girl should have been, was no one. You said there was a girl? I only see the grandpa. Bill went down the steps and up to the couches. The girl had indeed disappeared. Confused, he started to search around for any trace of her. The old man's eyebrows then began to move, while trying to open his eyes. Oh. Bill looked at him. The man put his hand on his nape and started to massage its tired muscles, then rubbed his eyelids and looked back at the bewildered boy. Finally, before talking, he licked his dry lips. St. Peter, is that you? What? This is heaven, no? In the higher area, the rest of the group, paying attention to what was happening, started to murmur. Some laughs could be heard. The old man turned around at the origin of the noise. Wasn't expecting to find a bar up here. Better than expected. If you get to drink, that is. Unfortunately for us all, this doesn't seem to be a paradise whatsoever. Esatto. Being a bar, it's probably more like purgatory, if you know what I mean. Please, sir, come over here. We will try to explain as best we can. The old man got up with some struggle and looked at Bill one more time before leaving with the rest. It was then that Bill remembered he still hadn't found the girl. He turned his head towards the nearby tables. One of them, sitting on a chair examining a barman just like his, was the girl. Oh! Hello there. Hey. Excuse me. Hi. Her eyes didn't react to the greeting. She kept staring at her barman's screen. Did she not hear me? Could she be deaf? Hello? Can you hear me? What do you want? Oh, I thought you couldn't hear me. I wish I couldn't hear you. With a suspicion of deafness out, Bill could only think of one other explanation for the lack of a response. She isn't just ignoring me, is she? She's ignoring you. I see you also have a barman. I too have a barman. We are bar friends, I suppose. You have an alias too, right? Mine is Bill. Well, actually, it's Billiards, and yours? Coffee. Well, that's unique. Coffee. Lime? Yo, Billy, my man, my dude, what's up? Okay, I like you already. I want to see what you were up to. I see you've got a new friend. Hey, Houston, Earth the Bill, man. Lime waved enthusiastically at Coffee, but she didn't get anything more than a slight head movement of unknown meaning in response. The others will want to meet her, so come with me to the counter and beyond. Andiamo! With that, Lime went back to the counter, shouting, Hey guys, it's coffee time! What's wrong with her? Let's go? Without a word, the girl got up and headed to the counter. He did the same, following behind. Oh, I see the soundtrack cues now. Oh, you're correct. It turned on. See, my personal war with these gadgets has been long-standing, albeit this one is easy to use. Not long ago, I bought one of those mobile telephones, you know. I'm still learning, though you can't ask too much of somebody my age. Fascinating. Please stop your war stories and respond, geezer. What does it say on the screen? Let's take a look. Ah, this thing knows me well. It says vodka. Vodka, huh? Lots and lots of it did I drink when I was a youngster. Together we would make a good cocktail. No doubt. I can prepare it if you wish. Maybe later. Before we start drinking, it'd be nice to know why we're here. We should already have all the pseudonyms, no? The what? I still don't get why it says vodka here. This ain't a bottle. Can't drink it. That's your name for now, unless you'd like to tell us your real one. Maybe old, but not dumb. There's a code name. It must be for something. Trust me on this. Oh, the sound effects are back. Huh, Grant doesn't fool around. Thanks. Well, now what? What is this for? It feels like it... I get that it's a unique touch, but... it is going to grate on me. It is definitely going to grate on me if we're playing a full game with that sound effect in here. As all of them introduced themselves, more or less, the big question reappeared. It's not so bad with longer lines, but when you have a bunch of short lines right in a row, like right at the beginning, it really started to be noticeable and grating. Yes, we need answers. Somebody must have brought us here. Kidnapping. Kidnapping? Me? What for? I'd be the winning party there if the kidnappers takes care of me. The access to this bar already makes it A-okay for me. Don't say such things. I'm sure your family must be very worried right now. Bah! Is your relationship with them that bad? Ha! Is that a yes? Of According to my calculations, I would hypothesize with a margin of error that it may or may not be a yes. Only maybe, or yes, perhaps, sometimes. Thank you, Lime. Well, I think she's lost it completely. That didn't take long. Can't lose what you never had. That's my secret. Copyrighted. Don't steal it. I just want to know what you're on for research and preservation, and to get some myself. Oh, natural, baby. This really isn't the right time for this. This has to be a kidnapping, right? Somebody put us to sleep and locked us up in this abandoned bar, right? The silence filled the room for a few seconds. Though we understood that most of them had been awake for longer, it still felt strange that they had accepted it so rapidly. There was a piece of missing, an important piece to understand the situation. That was... No, you got one thing wrong. That's what we assumed when we woke up. That's what you'd expect in this kind of scenario. If it's even something you could expect. And yet, well, it looks like we were captured and carried here somehow. Poker looked at what seemed to be the only entrance and exit of the bar. We checked the door and it's open. We aren't locked up here. However, that doesn't mean we can get outside. If we go out and explore, we could run into closed doors. Wait, what? Wait, the door isn't locked, but you didn't go out? Some insisted on doing so, but I convinced them against it until all of us woke up. In a situation like this one, not taking any hasty decisions is key. Now that we're all here, it's time to see what awaits us outside this bar. Huh? Not even going to let me have one sip before we leave? I can serve you a drink if you wish, but... Not now. I'd like to get out of here as soon as possible. Well, go right ahead if you want. Nobody's gonna stop you. No, we must stay. It was then that the conversation took a different path, a path that had no way back. They all turned towards the new voice. Oh? You should check the rules. Coffee, who had until then remained invisible, gained the attention of everybody present. Her gaze still focused on the barman. What? The what? Oh, yeah. This thing contains something. Like beyond a title screen with our alias. Jin raised her barman high to call everyone's attention. Probably something related to our situation. We decided to wait until we were all together before checking on anything. Another reason for why we chose to remain here. But somebody seems to have jumped the gun. Well, might as well check before we go out. Let's see what are these so-called rules. I have a bad feeling about this. Nervous, Bill turned on the barman once more. Again, that presentation screen with the nickname Billiards appeared. He didn't want to follow orders coming from such a shady object, but if he wanted to find out what was going on, he had to touch the screen. Trying to relax, he took a deep breath and... Oh. The game will not begin until all players have read the core rules. Till then, all other barman functions will be locked. Alright. For touching the screen, the name disappeared and was replaced by a message. Indeed, there were several menus, though only the first one was unlocked. Rules. More and more, Bill was sure it couldn't be anything good. To find out what it all meant, he had no choice. Whoa. Rules appeared alongside a message on top of them. The greeting message from their kidnapper. Oh. Welcome to the Golden Jack. Okay, I've said this before in other games, but it'd be nice to know when this is a click to advance thing. You've been chosen to play a game. Your bodies have been poisoned. Oh! It's a slow poison. If you win the game, you will receive the antidote. If you want to come out alive, you'll have to partake. My motives are irrelevant to you. If you want revenge, first you'll have to win. From now on, you are chained to my rules, and you yourselves will become those rules. These rules will be your shackles, but also your weapons. Break them and you'll be set free. It's likely you'll want to evade reality. This is a dream. This is a joke. This isn't for real. You are free to think so. In an hour, you'll feel the first symptoms of the poison. It will be then when you'll have to make a choice. Otherwise, it will be the end. Be strong. Find your allies. Defeat your enemies. And see what lies beyond. From the very bottom of my being, I await a good game. The owner. Ooh. Everyone fell completely silent, staring at their screens. Some reading, while others were still trying to understand what was happening. Players must take part in the game, following the rules. All players have been poisoned. The poison will take effect in 1 hour and 5 minutes from the start of the game, but after an hour, at XX00, antidotes that delay death 1 hour will be distributed. Each player has a specific antidote, and others won't have an effect. If an antidote is broken, falls to the floor, or is drunk by the wrong player, be it accidental or deliberate, it shall be replaced. If a player breaks a rule or is eliminated for any other reason, that player won't receive their antidote. When the game is won, an antidote that completely removes the poison shall be rewarded. To Bill, probably everyone else, it felt like he was alone in that room, like the entire world around him had stopped existing, with the exception of those words. Would anyone mind discussing this together? I think it would help understand the situation if we talked about it. Cocktail broke the silence with an appeased tone, trying to maintain peace. The world returned and Bill was thrown out of his trance, not even remembering if he had been breathing. Poker frowned. The calmness he had shown until then was gone. In general, all seemed to have been affected to some degree. Yeah, sounds good. What do you all think about this whole mess? This is ridiculous. The door's open. I'm not taking part in this. It's like one of those horror films, but you left the door open. We can just leave, right? What's the point of kidnapping us if it's optional? Well, it doesn't read like it's optional, but... No, it's obviously not optional. Running away isn't an option. Why not? Poison, assuming it's real, it will kill us if we set foot outside. Now if we look for help, we can find a hospital, or... If someone put in this much effort in setting up this shit, if it's really not some fucked up hidden camera joke, we should be smart enough to make sure the poison ain't easy to get rid of. Those who saw what was on the other side of that door with me know what I'm talking about. What's on the other side? Corridor. We ain't getting out of here just by getting off this bar. Even though this door is open, the one leading outside might not. In fact, I would bet it's not. There must be some windows in this building. I'm not very athletic, so maybe it's not the best idea, but if that's the only choice we have... As far as this bar is concerned, I still haven't seen a single window around. If we found any outside the bar, sure, that'd be an option, as long as we aren't too high up. And if you were the world champion of Olympiad jumping, you'd still die if you fell like 10 floors plus. Those of you that can climb walls, superhero style, are in luck. Meanwhile, the rest of us mortals are quite screwed. They couldn't be sure until they checked, although being too hopeful wasn't a good idea either. There was one detail that hadn't been brought up yet. It made perfect sense to not want to participate in a game after being placed there against their will. They had already made the following two assumptions. 1. The poison was real. Much more critically, 2. That game would be the one they would not want to play. In other words, it wouldn't be an innocent game to enjoy, then simply leave after its conclusion. Not just because of the poison. Anyone could tell what type of game it was. That was precisely the reason why the poison was needed. To force them to play. Realizing both points, Bill immediately spoke up about the first. Wait, have we really been poisoned? As this clearly states, we can't really make sure for now. We do that. We just say fuck this game and focus on getting out of here. And that's the crux of the matter. If it's true, we'd have to wait an hour. I mean, one of us falls flat on the ground and it's confirmed as heck. I need doctors in this room. Poison expert required over here. The cold silence of their companions made Lime and Vodka aware that it wasn't the time for humor. The young woman and the old man shared a resigned look. Well, let's just keep reading for the time being. Nothing wrong with that. We can worry about that poison folly later. Exactly. Let's look at all the cards before we play. To play, a barman device is required, of which there is one for each player that can only be used by that player. Under no circumstance can a player look intentionally at the screen of another barman turned on, or make someone look at their own. Breaking any barman is also forbidden. Each player has a numbered rule associated with them. Players can break that rule without penalty or limit. A link between two players can allow that infringement of that partner's rule. Interesting. Oh. Interesting. Now you want to play? Nah, but under less criminal circumstances, maybe I would. A game where each player is different from the rest is a pretty appealing concept. Right. You have to follow all the rules except your own. That automatically gives each player a unique advantage. And disadvantages. But also mentions some link stuff. I'm guessing it'll come up later. How? How could they talk about these rules so naturally? What's wrong with them? Huh? But where's that rules screen at? I'd say it will appear after this. We shouldn't rush. If a player dies, the associated rule will be removed from the game permanently. Ah, I see. As presumed. Incentive to eliminate others. The fewer there are, the more freedom for their remainders. Depending on what the rules are, the game could open up a lot. The way he spoke made it sound like a simple game. Fewer there are. What that actually meant was clear. The second supposition they had made, that it wasn't just a mere game. He had avoided using words that, at the moment, were starting to turn taboo. Nobody could tell if he had done so knowingly, or if in his head, that really was just a game. At 45 minutes past the hour, all players present in the Golden Jack will have to participate in a council, where they have to debate in order to find the rule number of the other players and use accusations to eliminate them. Oh, debates. Sounds intense. So basically, the goal is to find out the others' numbers to get them out of the game. Sounds easy enough. Yes, but remember, according to what we learned earlier, each number is associated with a rule. Ah, then... Indeed, with each elimination, the game can change drastically. I see. So those are the consequences for putting an end to a player. Dart's got several stares for a seemingly uncaring attitude, though he didn't seem to care. Fitting. No player can leave a council until it has been declared finished. To unveil the rule that each player possesses, help in the form of data, information in the numbers that apply to it, has been distributed among players, as well as hints hidden throughout the play area to connect the data with the player. And finally, the most important part, the last base rule of the game, to confirm their fears. The game will continue until 3 or less players remain alive. Till then, nobody can exit the building. That bar was in truth a jail cell, even with its doors open. They hadn't seen what awaited them beyond the Golden Jack. Yet now, even that ordinary place resembled something completely different. A joint cell that would demand for sacrifices. And there it is. Didn't like a single bit of how this was all written, but now that there's no doubt. A deathly game, eh? Lucky of you all to have me here. You can get rid of me with no regrets. Enough years on my back. Well, I suppose I'm the lucky one here. I have much fewer years of life at stake. And not funny anymore. Wasn't meant as a joke. At my age, it's hard to take anything seriously. When you reach it, you'll understand. If you do, that is. Previous looks that darts had received were trivial next to what the old man got. Albeit the feeling they gave off were different. It was a serious matter, and that dark humor could only dishearten them. All right, I admit that was too much. You don't need to listen to me. Put on some smiles, though. This isn't a funeral. Not yet, anyways. Whatever you say, old fart. Hey, I'm on Grandpa's side. A bit. A sense of humor is important, especially at moments like these. Just not that sort of humor. Not my type. Sorry. Well, at least the one behind this had the great benevolence to let 3 of us survive. I'm sure they thought they were doing us a great favor. How generous of them. It was true that in such games, the worst case scenario was for only one person to retain their life. Or none. Even so, they couldn't get their heads around who would be capable and willing of creating such a game. Bill wanted to say something, to throw out all the frustration that had taken a hold of him. But words didn't come out. What could he say to change the situation? Whoever's behind this shit must be really fucked in the head. Yeah, right? People called me weird. Lime's intentions were well-meaning, though not effective. They were just a curtain trying to hide away reality, to avoid panic, and alleviate their minds. But they couldn't close their eyes for long. He took a deep breath and tried to relax first. Then we have to play this no matter what? No. Finally, he took action. Even though we are strangers, we shouldn't participate in something that involves killing each other. We can't. Trying not to think about it, the word kill spewed out of him, as if he had tried to get it out of his head. He didn't want to imagine how things would end up if the situation got out of hand. On the surface, the 9 people with him didn't seem dangerous. They were victims just like him. Some more peculiar than others, but no one had the eyes of a killer. At least, that's what he felt. That's how he wanted it to remain. If our lives are in danger, our only option is to play. Won't lay still waiting for my death. I know, I'm not saying we should give up. It's the opposite, we have to survive, but we can't lose our humanity in the process. Fortunately, those words stuck in his throat for a few moments. I think someone else intervened. Let's not get heated, please. We still haven't fully read all of this that this game entails. Exactly, chill. We still haven't gotten to the rules. Last thing we need is to break one by accident. If we haven't done that yet, of course. Chill ran through Bill's back, one of the many he'd been having, but perhaps the biggest one yet. Carried away by the events and his emotions, he'd forgotten something so obvious, or more like it hadn't even gone through his head. Without any further delay, everyone touched their screens, and the rules appeared. Whoa. List of 10 rules. Before he could read them, Bill heard their voices. So, house is the one marked, yeah? Seems so. Yikes, this is way too much stuff all at once. Oh, Mama, oh, Papa, me goofed and me blanked. Huh? I see. Bill looked at the list, but... Huh? He didn't see any marks. What was that supposed to indicate? What was supposed to indicate which one was his rule? Did he have to ask the others for help? For some reason, he couldn't bring himself to do it. Maybe his device was broken, or perhaps there was some meaning behind it. If that was the case, sharing it with everyone was dangerous, as it would put him at a disadvantage. As soon as he thought of that, his mind slammed on the brakes. But he just... Unconsciously and against his wishes, his brain had stated, started to play the game. He couldn't erase those thoughts from his head. Better off not saying anything for now. Before anything else, I should read them. One by one, he read the 10 rules in the middle of that silence that had formed while everyone else did the same. All rules had their value. However, 5 of them were especially notable. The first 4 and the 9th. Oof, I'm lost as heck right now. Anyone got the recap? believe it would be beneficial for us all if we discuss it openly. Right, it's important that we all understand what we're dealing with here. First rules seem like a good summary. 1. Intended killing is forbidden, especially except with an accused or being the spy. So we can't just go butcher someone, yeah? That's a good rule. It keeps us safe. More like it restricts the killer role to one person. The player in possession of that rule can break it without being eliminated. Don't forget it. Ooh, that's a good point. And if someone else wants to do a violence, they just have to eliminate them. They just have to eliminate rule number 1, and then they can go ham. Several looks of suspicion flew across the room. Trying to calm things down, someone slightly changed the subject. What's that talk about a spy? Are we back to the Cold War? We're already on the 21st century, Gramps. Good question, though. No clue what that's about. Haha, we have a spy. I can't read Russian. Let's explain later on. What seems clear is that the easiest way for us to eliminate anyone with this is with those accusals. Exactly. Only one person can go to the violent route, but if they die, that path becomes available to all of us. Everything was getting more and more bizarre by the second. A bunch of strangers were calmly talking about eliminating each other. Bill could not understand. Perhaps those people had been chosen for the game precisely because of their easy acceptance of it. But in that case, why was he included? But wait, if only one can kill, how is this game fair? By using accusations, it's explained in the council menu. Basically, if enough people know somebody's number, you can get an accusal started and vote them. If they get it right, that person's antidote gets taken out. Then, let's say, for example, I start an accusation against 4. Everyone would get a message saying something like, number 4 is on the ropes, make them pay. That was way too cringy. Oh, forget that example, that's not the important part. We'd all get the memo, and then we would write the name of the player we think has no rule 4, in your case. Like, for example, darts. Is that an accusation? No clue. Should it be? I don't think that. Channel your inner key, people. Enter Nirvana with me. Let's go. 1, 2, y 3. Done. Calm now? I'm calm. Yep. We could just not vote, right? We could just not vote, right? Yeah, abstaining. A blank vote. That could have consequences. I expect if someone's number was found out, their life would be put in danger. Okay, I think I'm getting it now. I got a question about the next one, too. You must remain inside the Golden Jack. Golden Jack is this bar, right? Didn't you say you opened the door? Yes, but we didn't go out. Doesn't count, right? Right? Let's hope. Didn't even open it all the way. Nobody stepped outside. We should still be safe. Huh. Waiting was the right call. Then we are trapped in here. Man. All but 1 to be precise. Let's hope they don't abandon us. As long as they leave the drinks here, I'm good. The rules said we couldn't get off the building, so I doubt it. Even so, that person could get out, investigate, and tell us what they found. That would reveal their rule, ergo, their number. Nobody's that stupid. Okay, calm down, young man. It was just an idea. Sure, if someone wants to be the noble sacrifice, they are welcome. But like I said, I doubt it. Relax, we can get to those things later. I think the third one is the most dangerous right now. 3. In each council, 1 player will have to say their number publicly. Lying is allowed, but without repeating a number, till all have been declared. If a lie is proven, the real number will have to be given. Huh. 1 one player will have to say their number publicly. First two could be considered reasonable, in comparison anyways. Oh yeah, that one did me good. They telling us to do something. They telling us to do some sacrificial rituals? That's a very extreme way to look at it, but I can't deny that. That's how it seems. Depends on what you consider prove. So in essence, in each of these councils, one person has to take that risk, so everyone can survive till all of us have done it after 10 hours. Still, how do they expect us to do it? Nobody will take that risk, and we all will break that rule. Only the person holding that rule would be forgiven, which would make them the only survivor. We have to stop that. If we agree on an order and follow it. Yeah, sure, good luck with that. It's the only way to... Be the first, then. He didn't know how to respond to that. Maybe he really had to be the first, so the rest would follow him. But even with that in mind, it was a hard call to make. It was the classic prisoner's dilemma. Someone had to take a risk for the well-being of the others. If nobody took it, all would be punished. All the voices stopped until... Number 4 is also important. Once again, she chimed in when everyone else had already forgotten her presence. True. The game continues after 10 hours, as players will have to end it immediately by their suicide. That's concerning. A 10-hour time limit, essentially. And what a way to express it, man. Well, that makes sense. That way we aren't stuck here forever. That's only if we can get through Rule 3. In comparison, 4 isn't as imminent. Still, we have to hurry. We have to find a way out. 10 hours should be enough time to investigate and find the exit. In the corner of the screen, as was standard, the time appeared. 25 after. When they had awakened, it had to have been 12 o'clock. At least that's how it seemed, but it was suspicious that they had woken up right as the day started. Didn't know how much had passed since their abduction. The time was possible. It could be just a timer, counting the time since the start of the game. As long as Rule 2 exists, we can't look for an exit. Those could be considered the 4 maiden rules: player elimination method restriction, a spatial restriction, an hourly danger, and time restriction. There was another imperative rule, however. Rule 9 also worries me. 9. At the start of every hour, each player will be assigned a secret objective that has to be completed before the next one, without being discovered. Oh yeah, more stuff, just what we needed. Real though, why play this when you have elegant and beautifully simple games like good old rock, paper, scissors? What? I'm just saying, if they have to make us play something, at least make it simple, like paper, scissors, rock. Nothing beats scissors, rock, paper. I'm just gonna ignore all that stuff at the end. If rules will go down with time, it makes sense. It's so complex. Otherwise, it might actually end up being more basic than RPS. I don't think it would go that far, but yes, I guess that makes some sense. So that's the recap, yeah? More or less, but read all of it later. At least don't be lazy. Okay. There's something really intriguing. Rule 10 mentions a spy mode, which appears in one of the menus, and only that rule can use. It doesn't seem to be explained anywhere. Oh my, the spy strikes back. Electric Boogaloo. That's true. The first one also mentioned a spy. Nobody seemed to have the answer for that mystery, so the conversation ended there. My head hurts because of all this nonsense. Flim-flam. Jibber-jabber. Oh wait, it's the usual. At least we can check them whenever we want. There's still a ton of stuff not cleared, but all that info should be in there too, I hope. Even with doubts still in the air, those were the main rules. It was the game they had been shut in. He had to examine the other options inside the so-called barman in depth. He had to know his enemy well, that game. Oof, too complicated. So many numbers. Can we just play Una? Una? Wait, you don't know Una? I may be old, but I do know that much Spanish. Look, I can count. Una, dos, tres, etc., etc. Muito bien. You passed. ¿Por qué? Planning is pointless. All the pieces have been laid on the board. Those who continue to look away will fall first. I'm still not so sure. But as long as the poison can be real, we have no choice but to follow the rules. If we confirm it's real, we'll have to play. He looked all around at the faces of his alleged opponents. There were all sorts of expressions. Some smiling with no worry to be found. Some with a confident grin. Some confused. Or not taking it seriously. Others staring at their barman scream, with sweat drops on their forehead. Or faces that wanted to scream to escape that place. Even if he didn't know his number yet, the rest probably did, if he was the only case. What was each number thinking? Some could already be planning something. The number wasn't his priority. The young man assigned the name Billiards saw things differently. That situation, typical of a horror movie, was a one-way road with a dead end, literally. If they let fear carry them, they themselves would cause that end. The criminal behind it all would be the winner. Who was the culprit? What were their motives? Why them? Those weren't the questions he wanted to solve. He wasn't a detective, and he had no plans to become one. They had a life to continue, waiting for them outside, in the world they had lived in until then. A world full of hardships, but that, even in its worst times, wasn't as sinister as that game in front of them. He would return alive, and he wouldn't be alone with any sacrifice. He wouldn't lower himself becoming a murderer. They had to escape somehow. That was the only option before it was too late, before number one made a move. Luckily, only that person was an impending threat. However, while they were relatively safe as long as Rule 1 lived, that might prolong their lives for 10 hours, when Rule 4, if not stopped, would terminate them. No matter what happened, even if they were strangers, he would not let anyone die. Hello, Billiards. If necessary.